All right, folks, welcome to GAMcast Live, the biggest story of the day for October 19th, 2022. The biggest story of the day for today is the media is lying about the early voting numbers in Georgia, folks. GAMcast, the Florida and Georgia lawyer that breaks down the news of the day through the lens of the Constitution, the history, and the law. Folks, we try to keep this under 4 minutes to give you the biggest story of the day. The biggest story of the day is the media is lying. Here's what they're saying about Georgia's early voting. Again, complete nonsense. Anybody that pays any attention knows that it's nonsense, but here it is.
Voting numbers out that we're seeing in Georgia, as I mentioned, first day turnout nearly double what it was back in 2018. That's pretty astounding in and of itself. What does this say about what we're going to see play out in Georgia over the next couple of weeks?
That's right, Yasmin. This is record-breaking midterm turnout here in Georgia on the first day of early voting. It was, as you note, almost double of what it was in 2018 and just a few thousand votes lower than what it was in 2020, which is the presidential election year. And since then, we've seen some updated numbers come in. It is now upwards of 172,000 in terms of the early vote numbers. Now, what does this all mean? I met earlier today, sat down with a prominent Republican who's...
All right, before he tells this anecdotal story, which is complete nonsense, let's go ahead and debunk this because it's easily debunkable by anybody that's paid attention, okay? Folks, first and foremost, Georgia has had early voting for a while, but it is a relatively new thing, okay? And so what's happening here is that more people are learning it's a lot easier to early vote in Georgia. Among other things, you don't have to go to your polling place. I'm broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm an Atlanta, Georgia voter, okay? I know exactly what this is talking about. If you go early voting, and it is now extended, so we now have early voting from the 17th to the 31st. So for 2 weeks, all right, you can go to any polling place you want. They're not all open, but you can go to any one you want. You can vote, okay? And it's a little less lines and whatnot. So that's one of the reasons is more people are starting to vote, okay? Second thing is we just had primaries in Georgia a couple months ago. You know what happened? Record-breaking Republican turnout, record-breaking Democrat turnout. This is a surprise to no one. Number three. Here are the early voting numbers from Florida, which has had it a little longer than Georgia. At this point, same time, same bat channel 2 years ago, Democrats were up 3-1. Look at these numbers. 196, 375, that's Democrats. Republicans, 188, 46. Almost 1-1. What's this guy talking about? It's more media nonsense, more media lying. Let him tell you an anecdotal story. He'll tell you another lie. Here it is.
With Herschel Walker, and he said that this is a real wake-up call for Republicans for the simple reason that historically we've seen early voters are predominantly Democrats. This shows what we've suspected in the data, what we've seen in the data for some time now, which is that 2022 is shaping up to be an unusual midterm year in that both parties are energized and
garbage. Absolute garbage. Whoever that person is, if they're probably fictitious, but if they exist at all, with the Herschel Walker campaign, apparently wasn't around for the primaries. Apparently he's not aware about what's going on in the rest of the states, and apparently not aware that early voting, I'll give you, was a Democrat thing for a while. It's now becoming a both-party thing. And again, if you look at the numbers, more Georgians turned out for the primaries sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Earlier this year, even though you had an incumbent in Kemp out there. So anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this live stream, please hit the like button there. Share it. Sharing is caring. Let a friend know. And if you enjoyed this live stream, I hope you tune back in tomorrow.